What's up, everybody?
Welcome to the weekly.
The Weekly Pour.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Brought to you by Dr. Pepper.
Oh, Dr. Pepper, baby.
Dr. Pepper.
Hey, we're excited that you are joining us today. Thank you for joining us on this chilly but beautiful Wednesday evening.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're going to sing silly songs with Larry. No, I'm joking. Veggie Town. No, we're not. But we are going to recap last Sunday's sermon. Dang, that one got faster.
I think we need to start over.
No, this is good. We'll just keep going. Yeah, I know. We got some surprises for you guys, like our sponsorship with Dr. Pepper. And
Dr. Pepper.
is it the best soda? I would say.
Yeah, not even close. I mean, I don't even know what a second soda would be even close to it.
I've heard before that the secret of the taste of those 23 magical ingredients is Dr. Pepper is root beer and Coca-Cola mixed together or something like that.
Really?
Someone said that, but it's probably not true.
Yeah, I'm not trying it.
If you're ever in a pinch, you can just...
Once saved, always saved.
That's
DP.
right.
DP.
There you go. But so, guys, hey, welcome. We are here today to share with you some insights into Pastor's awesome sermon from last week, from last Sunday. And it was a great sermon. It was a lot about obedience versus...
Popularity.
Yes. It was hard for me because I'm such a popular guy, you know. I had a hard time with that one. No, I'm just joking.
I think a lot of people did.
Yes. Whether or not you are popular, but we do have a temptation, right, to pursue popularity.
Yeah.
So before we jump in, was there anything you wanted to share, Pastor, about just kind of like the story, anything that stood out to you in Mark 6?
Yeah, I mean, so we looked at all of Mark 6, right? Just been going through the book of Mark, and, before that we went through a long passage in chapter 4. We went through chapter 5, and what you see at the end of 4 and all of 5 is like really Jesus's lordship, how he's, just Lord over everything, really. I mean, he quiets the storm, casts out demons, heals a physically sick person, raises someone from the dead. And so, like, it's letting us know that, hey, Jesus is, not only, like, he's God, but, like, just showing how he controls all of that, right? And so something I said on Sunday, what's fascinating about Mark 6, because we looked at all of Mark 6, because all of Mark 6 really does have to deal or paints this picture of how do we face, well, not how do we face, but we're going to face rejection and how to respond to that, right? Like, because this is a time where Jesus should have been, he came back from his hometown, he should have been super popular, but the opposite takes effect. He's rejected.
Right.
And so, yeah, my main point on Sunday was that, for us as Christians today is we have to understand that God has never measured success by popularity, right? He's only measured it by faithfulness. And that's really played out all through Scripture.
Yeah, and it's very countercultural, right, to what we would naturally want. And I even think about those disciples. Like, imagine you're traveling with Jesus, going through ministry. You're seeing all these great miracles. You're seeing large crowds. And then you go to, like, Nazareth, so Jesus' hometown. You think it's almost like going to the home team, like the home stadium, right? Or, like, home court advantage. And the people reject Jesus in his own hometown. I kind of wonder, like, how did that make the disciples feel? Like, what would be going through their mind seeing Jesus be rejected like that?
Well, I think, that's a great question, because I think that's what we all have to wrestle with, right? There's a gospel being presented today where, Jesus gives you your best life, right? You come to Jesus and everything's going to get better. You come to Jesus, it's not going to be harder, it's going to be easier. And the fact of the matter is, when you read the Gospels, the Gospels confront that head on, and it's like, no, it's not easier. It does get harder. That we will not be popular, most likely if we're living our faith out biblically, we are going to be rejected.
Right. And I think that whole chapter in Mark 6, I mean, it deals with so much different types of rejection. Like you have Jesus in Nazareth, the disciples on mission,
Yep.
John the Baptist in prison, right? Like not a very popular place to be.
Yeah.
So I guess one of these questions would be, how did this chapter reshape your understanding of what faithfulness actually looks like when it's misunderstood or rejected?
Yeah, what faithfulness actually looks like when it's misunderstood or rejected. So, something I said on Sunday would be, our job, one person plants and others waters, but the Lord gives growth, right? Really our job is to just be faithful to what God has called us to. And, so far, like so much we jump right to the passage of love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? Here's the 2 commandments, right? Love God, love people. I mean, I'm paraphrasing it. Mm-hmm. But that's not all that Jesus calls us to do, right? Matthew 28:19 says, go therefore and make disciples. So how do we be faithful in that? Well, I think one thing you just have to recognize is that, Matthew 5 talks about, you are blessed when they insult you and persecute you and falsely say every kind of evil against you because of me.
Right.
And then he says, oh, by the way, when this happens, be glad and rejoice. Because your reward's in heaven. And so to remain faithful in a time where you can be rejected or whatever it might be, I think it's having this eternal mindset of everything that I'm encountering, all the pushback, all the rejection, all the persecution, like all this stuff, like my mind's so set on eternity that it's like, hey, I'm doing the Lord's work that he's called me to.
Right. It's like, we have our mind and our heart set on our eternal home.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm not of this world. I'm just a pilgrim passing through. And if you really think that way, like, and you have constantly, like, you have heaven on your mind, you have eternity on your mind, I wanted to see as many people get saved so that they can be with us in heaven. You have that on your mind, then, the things of this world shouldn't matter. The cares of this world and popularity is definitely a care of this world.
And that's kind of like, it makes me think about when I was playing college basketball, and I think it was my junior year. The family that I helped take care of their kids and everything, bought me a ticket with them to go to Florida for a vacation. And it happened to be right at in the middle of our preseason, early season conditioning. And so, obviously my coach was like, dude, you're going to miss a lot of like running and all this stuff. Like, how are you going to stay in it? And so when I got to Florida, I literally swam laps every day, like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Now I'm not a great swimmer, so I had to stop. But the point of that is like, I was willing to go through that heartache and the hardship and being tired because my mindset was on our team, but also our season that was coming upon us. And I knew that if I was going to become lackadaisical, that was going to affect me more than being faithful to the exercising and stuff. And so for us, it's just like,
right.
If all we do is view this earth and this world as like, we don't want to have pain, we don't want to have hurt, we don't want to be rejected,
we don't want to have discomfort.
Yeah, then the byproduct of that is that we will not be faithful.
Right.
We won't. We will cower.
Mm-hmm.
And so
that's good. You think in Nazareth, right? So Jesus wasn't rejected for a lack of power or wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And he had all of that. But he was rejected because he didn't fit their expectations. Why do you think familiarity is often one of the greatest barriers to faith? And how have you seen that play out in your own life or your own ministry?
Yeah. That's a really good question. I think we've all seen it, right? The problem with familiarity, and for these people here, is that, like we just said, Jesus didn't fit their expectations of the Messiah, right? They believed the Messiah was going to help overthrow the Roman government, be a powerhouse in the political realm, setting people free that way. But Jesus obviously came to set people free from the greatest endangerment and bondage, which was our sin.
Yeah.
And And so the problem with familiarity is that they can only see you through your mistakes you made before you came to Christ, right? They can only see you through your immaturity, or they can only see you through your age or your last name that you carry or where you lived. They're familiar with who you were. They're familiar with how you were raised and how you did life before Jesus, right? And so the sad part about that is that, familiarity, rather than people being, rather than having a possibility of being set free, it actually blocks them. Because their familiarity is the reason that he couldn't do miracles there.
Right.
And so, for me, I think we've all experienced this with family members, friends. I mean, it's still today that I hear from people like it's so hard for them to believe that I'm a pastor because of how I was on the basketball court, right? It's hard for them to believe that I am a pastor because of who I was in high school and before I gave my life to Christ. Like, that's all they view it through is my sin-stained life. And so, rather than being open to the message that Jesus is the good news, they actually are closed to the good news through it.
Yeah, that's really good. And we'll actually see that this upcoming Sunday, guys, when in my sermon, because we'll find in Mark 7 that who Jesus cleans is clean. Like who he says is clean is clean. And so, your past life is covered under the blood of Jesus. Thank the Lord. As far as the east is from the west, he's removed our transgressions from us. And that's really good. And I do think that in ministry, in life, just as a Christian, like you might not be a pastor, but whoever's watching this, but like you probably have family that, unless you were raised in the church and raised as like a believer, like, they know your story, they know your past, and sometimes they may hold that over your head but I think the Lord, that he does provide someone for everybody to share the gospel to.
Yep.
And that's sometimes we have to recognize that, like, I might not be that person for so-and-so, but he does send people to those.
Well, I think that's just piggybacking on that, that's the hard thing for us, right? That's why we don't speak truth in grace and love. That's why we don't want to have tough conversations. That's why we honestly don't even want to share our faith in Jesus Christ around those that we love and that are closest to us, because we believe that if we were to do that and it severs the bridge, no one's going to be able to save them.
Right. And
so subtly what happens, and we wouldn't say this out loud, but suddenly we begin to believe that we are the person that saves them.
Right. No, that's really good.
In our passage, Jesus literally says in the next portion, look, I'm sending you out as 12 disciples. If they don't receive you, dust it off your feet and just move on. And I'm not saying that we just move on from our family and stuff. That's not what I'm saying. But there's a principle there. It's like our calling is to share the good news. Like, the response is up to God.
Right. Whether or not it's popular or not.
Yeah. Yep.
That's good. When Jesus sends out the disciples, he emphasizes obedience without guaranteeing results or guaranteeing the people would accept them, right? Why do we so naturally equate success with outcomes? And what does it look like to genuinely measure faithfulness by obedience instead of popularity, instead of those results?
Yeah, this is like the hard thing for all of us, right? Because we do live in a culture where we measure success based on response.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's everywhere. It's even in the church, right? We always sit down and ask, I mean, not us, but we evaluate, but like we don't hang our hats on it. But like the questions are, how many people showed up to the event? And if we didn't get X amount of people here, then it's a failure, right?
How many people responded?
Yeah, how many people responded? How many people liked the event? How many people share on social media? Like, all of this stuff is embedded in our culture. Like, it is just ingrained. Like, it's just boom, in your face. And so really what has produced in our culture is a mindset of results equate or mean success. And that's not true. I mean, over and over and over in the Gospels, like Jesus spoke hard truths where there are times where people were saying, this is too hard of a truth for us to receive. And Jesus said, then you're not worthy of following me.
Right.
And he let them walk. And so, for us, like Jesus doesn't say to the disciples, success equals acceptance, right? He doesn't say obedience to his mission guarantees success. And this is like one of my biggest soapboxes in ministry, because like we look at churches and if there's only 20, 30, 40 people there, we automatically think, well, man, that church is dead or that pastor's not alive and thriving. Mm-hmm. But that could, in some cases that could be true, but in a lot of cases I think like, man, no, like that's not the case. And so we just look at these things of like, we have to recognize that if our aim is to please man, then we will not please God. And we have to understand that like when it comes to this in popularity, and I don't remember the question in totality, but we got to stop asking the questions, did this work? Did that work? Did this work? Did that work? How did they respond? Did my ministry or my event grow? Like all this stuff, because what God's asking us is one simple question. Did you obey me? Mm-hmm. Did you obey me? And here's the thing. If you're not praying about it, then you can't obey him.
True.
Like for us as pastors, if we don't pray about our sermons, God can't ask us, did you obey me?
Right.
Because we're not seeking his wisdom, his knowledge, his advice for the sermons. The same thing goes for people who love the Lord if it's any type of event, right? It's so easy to fall into the trap of like, well, I can just do this in my own strength and X, Y, Z and look at success. But God still asks you guys the same questions, like, whether it's a golf event, if it's a recruiting event, if it's going to work and speaking to someone, he asks you the same question. Did you obey me? Did you obey me?
Mm-hmm. And the challenge too is like we want to compare ourselves to others, compare ourselves to other ministries and be like, well, they have X amount of people. So in order for us to be successful, then we need to have exactly what they have, or we need to look exactly like what they look like. And that might not be what God's called us to. You know what I mean? So you really have to know what is the Lord saying and what is he asking you to do, and obey. And just have your eyes like just literally fixed on Christ and not looking to the left, to the right, going, oh, why don't we have what they have?
Yeah.
Why
Comparison
don't we look like
kills.
them? Comparison kills. Exactly.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like we are surrounded by instruments that enables and raises comparison, right? Cell phones, social media, just the way we look at the world in today's day and age in 2026, like it's constantly fed that we have to compare to someone. And when that happens, it's very hard to become obedient to God.
Amen. In this chapter, we also see, John the Baptist, who's in prison and is beheaded by Herod. And there's an interesting contrast between John the Baptist and Herod. Shows us that popularity often demands compromise. Where do you think Christians today are most tempted to choose approval over obedience? And what helps us to resist that pull?
Yeah. Well, we won't get political here. But just look at the political realm. Like, look what the parties are pushing, right? And if we're choosing to remain silent in any case that is not God honoring, that's what we're doing. Mm-hmm. It's exactly that. We're compromising. And I don't remember the exact quote, but I think it was by Leonard Ravenhill. I think it's him, where he said to say nothing at all is to...
Is you're saying something?
Yeah. To not say anything is to say something, pretty much.
No vote is a vote.
Yeah.
Is another way.
Yeah. And so, like, that's compromise. Dietrich Bonhoeffer with the whole Jewish massacre. If you guys have not watched that movie of him, I tell everyone, watch the movie. I mean, there's a true story that a church during that time, when that was happening, a church, every time they were gathering, is like a train would come by with Jews and they could hear them screaming. So they thought to themselves, let's just sing hymns when that happens. Sing louder and louder and louder, because then they wouldn't hear the people crying out. And that baffles my mind. But we do it all day, like when it comes to topics.
Just ignore it.
Yeah, that are unpopular, like the right to life. I'm not going to go through the topics because we don't want to get canceled. It's 2026. So, but everyone knows what they are. And rather than being a bold lion, which is what God has called us to be, as I said Sunday, the most of the church in America is little kittens. It's we don't say anything.
Right.
And we're compromising with it. And you see that with John and Herod. This is where we're pulling this from, if you guys are wondering. Like, go read Mark 6 of John and Herod. John was a man who didn't compromise. He was faithful to God. He spoke truth. He confronted sin. He refused to skimp on the message that God gave him because he believed it was what God called him to. And so it cost him his life because of that, because he was calling out Herod for sleeping with someone that he shouldn't be. But then on the other hand, you had Herod, who feared John. He protected John. He listened to John. But like what I said on Sunday was, when it came down to it, Herod chose reputation and popularity over righteousness. He compromised. He was more worried about those who were in the room than he was God and pleasing him.
Right. And that happens in church all the time.
All the time. All the time. It's remaining quiet in our work when we know we're supposed to speak up. Right? It's remaining quiet in our family functions when we know we should speak up. Like, this is a conviction of mine as of late. I mean, that's why Paul says in Romans, I'm going to paraphrase it, but how is anyone going to become saved if we don't share?
Right.
If we don't share the truth? It won't. And, it's like, one of our deacons said to me the other day, like, as pastors, but it's not just as pastors, we have the greatest message to mankind. How could we stay quiet?
Yeah.
How could we stay quiet? And so when we stay quiet, we're compromising.
Yeah. How can we stay quiet and live just a defeated life when we know that God has so much for us, that he's victorious and he's made us a new creation. He's made us a conqueror. It's kind of like what I was praying on Sunday for, like, he's done all these things for us, yet we want to just be walking in defeat.
Yeah.
Like, we should be the most happiest people. Yeah,
we should.
We want to walk in depress and gloom and complain constantly. Like, come on, guys. I mean, you've been saved from hell. Like, God has saved you from hell. We should be rejoicing.
Yeah.
Get our eyes on Christ.
And here's the thing, like, when it comes to compromise, I think with social media, it's shown like the bad things that have happened to people when they preach the gospel, and you get really crazy people. Most times that doesn't happen. It was a few years ago that I had a choice: do I compromise or do I stand for God's righteousness? And even for me, it was scary. And it was a basketball team I played on, but the jerseys had Bud Light. It was sponsored by Bud Light. And so I had this thing. It's like, okay, I'm a pastor, I'm a preacher of the gospel. Do I wear the Bud Light jersey or do I not? Well, I couldn't. Not just because of what I believe in, but because of my history. And so I let the team first I let the team captain know, but I went to every person on the team and said, I can't wear this. And I gave them the reasons why. And it was scary, but the thing is, not one person responded angry. They were like, dude, I totally respect you. And then it led to 2 other people on our team not wearing them. Nice. So what I'm saying is, like, when you take a stand for God's righteousness, he protects those who stand for righteousness. It was in my reading today.
There you go. Hebrews 11, that's the chapter of what it looks like to walk by faith. You have so many different examples of men of God in the Bible and people of God that walked by faith, and that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, if you get martyred for your faith, you're a martyr.
You wear the victor's crown.
That's way better than me and how I'm praying right now that the Lord just takes me in my sleep. You know, it is. So like, dude, bring on martyrdom. I don't care. I want to stand righteously for Christ, and if it costs my life, like John the Baptist said, then it cost my life.
That's what it looks like to be bold as a lion.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us for this
Dang,
week's...
dude, we left on that note.
Dang, this is dark.
That's dark, dude.
Don't worry, let's add a little lighten the mood.
Yeah. Yes. Tonight, because we are filming it on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Today it is Wednesday. Hey, tonight I play my old man's league. Gonna play some. Yeah. Gonna play some young bucks. So I'm gonna let them know that, you know, us old guys may not be as athletic anymore, but we have knowledge of the game.
Still have wisdom.
Yeah, we still have wisdom. Tonight Nebraska plays Washington to stay undefeated. So there's your highlight, guys. And most importantly, Freddy's is open in Fremont. Custard, frozen
Freddy's
custard.
sponsor our next episode,
Yes,
Freddy's.
we might get them too. So we'll go there after this to get some lunch.
Oh, that sounds good. All right, guys. We'll see you next Wednesday. Take care. God bless. And have a great day.